So you're looking to find the right business coach. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that. I am a business coach and I've worked with a lot of business coaches, and let me tell you, I've seen every mistake under the sun. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you what to do to find a great business coach for you and how to avoid some of the pitfalls and problems that you might run into along the way. So there are 8 things that I want to run through today that I want you to look for as you go about finding that perfect right business coach for you. The first is what I call alignment. Now, one of the biggest problems you can run into when working with a coach or anybody really is that you're not aligned with core values. So for example, if your most important value is lifestyle and being a great mom or dad to your kids and having the time to spend with them that you want to, but your business coach is all about money and making more sales and marketing, and they don't honor that desire in you, you're gonna run into problems because the strategies that coach is gonna help you develop are gonna be misaligned, most likely, with your lifestyle. So at the fundamental level, you wanna find a coach that aligns with your values. Right? So another example would be if you have a coach who's very religious or very spiritual and you're not, right? Then you might clash when it comes time to make decisions and your coach is like, you should go pray about it. And you're like, I don't do that, right? So think about, as you're hiring a coach, to really look at, does this person align with your worldviews, with your beliefs, with your values? This is like the most fundamental thing you can do. And actually not doing that has been a source of a lot of pain for my clients who are coaches themselves when they have a client who's not an aligned match. The second thing to look out for is congruency. What that means is, does this coach congruently embody the thing that they're coaching about and the thing that you want? So for example, do they live the lifestyle that you want to live, or are they just talking about it? You know, there's a lot in the coaching industry that's about appearances and show and, you know, being on the boat or drinking the champagne or sitting in front of the Ferrari. You'd be surprised to know how many of those coaches are renting that Ferrari for the day and putting on a show to get you as a client. And so I think it's really important to make sure that the coach truly embodies the things that they're promoting and that you do the due diligence, do the homework to make sure that this person has created and is living what you want to create and live. Now, that doesn't mean you can't work with a coach who doesn't exactly do what you want to do, but the idea is this person a congruent leader? Are they embodying the values and principles that you need to embody in order to grow your business? Like, you don't want to work with a coach who's never broken $1 million if you want to have $1 million business, right? You want to work with the person who's created that for themselves so that they can help you create that too. The third thing you'll want to look out for is, does this person see the vision that you see? This is really important because there are times when I've worked with coaches who've tried to talk me out of things that I want to create. You know, they've tried to bring a dose of reality to my vision, and I don't feel like they fully supported what I wanted to create. They had their own ideas. A great coach is someone who buys into your vision and desire and helps you figure out a way to get there, and then honestly reflects back to you when you're not stepping up to the plate to fully embody that vision. The coach that actually helped me the most in my life was somebody who would always say yes to me. Now, that doesn't mean he always agreed with everything I was doing, or he always, shine sunshine up my you know what, but rather that he always listened deeply to my desires and my vision and always helped me get to a more concrete and aligned version of that vision. I'll give you an example. So when I was working with, his name was Jake, I remember within the first couple months, we did this visualization and he was helping me grow my business. And I was in a really dire financial position at the time. I was really struggling and I started working with him to change my business model and to create something new. And so we had this vision of what I was going to create. I was going to create retreats and a mastermind program. And so we were kind of knee deep in launching that new program when I did this visualization with him. And in the visualization, I saw myself having moved out of my house, packing my stuff in my car, and driving around the country for a year. A road trip for a year. Who does that? Well, nobody that I ever knew had ever done that. I remember calling him up and saying, Jake, I have this crazy idea. And I told him about my vision. And he goes, okay, let's figure out how to make that happen. He didn't tell me why my idea was stupid. He didn't try to talk me out of it, even though later on he would help me refine the idea and make it more realistic and refine it. But he didn't try to talk me out of what I wanted. He saw my vision and he was enrolled in my vision, and he took the commitment to help me get to my vision, which, by the way, I did. And I grew my business almost 4 times. I almost quadrupled my business in that year that I was on that road trip. That's amazing. For me to be able to leave my environment, leave my office, go on the road, and still grow my business. That's because he was a great coach who saw my vision and held me to a higher standard to help me get there. The 4th thing you want to look for in the perfect business coach for you is, does this person have specific experience in the area that you need? So back to the example of Jake, right? Jake had actually built the exact business that I was looking to build. He had built a retreat mastermind model. That's how I started working with him. I came to one of his retreats. I joined his mastermind and I said, hey, Jake, I want to do what you do. Can you help me do it? And he said, sure. So you want to find a business coach who has experience, if not themselves, direct experience, but other clients that have gotten the outcomes that you want to get. The 5th thing you might want to consider in finding the right business coach is looking for someone who has a group model. Now, I know that the tendency is to want to get as much of the coach as you can for yourself privately, one-on-one. That's what everybody wants or thinks that they want. But I invite you to consider finding a coach that has the experience, that is aligned, that's the right match for you, and who has a group of peers that are doing what you want to do, so that you can become part of that collective and exchange best practices, learn from each other. What I found is that your progress will speed up when you're surrounded by others also doing what you're doing, rather than just going it alone, you and the coach by yourselves. The 6th thing to consider when you're looking for the right coach is to see, can you talk to some of their clients? Like, a lot of coaches will put up testimonials on their website and they'll say, hey, look at this person, I helped them do this, and look at that person. But you gotta know that they're cherry picking the best testimonials. That's what I do to put on my website. I wouldn't choose a bad testimonial, right? Not that there are very many of those, I promise. But what you really wanna do is see if that coach, and this will show if they feel confident in what they've done, if they'll introduce you to some of their clients, if they'll let you talk to the clients, if they'll give you access to ask their clients questions. That's what I do. Actually, when I work with new clients, I bring my clients into the retreat, into the 3-day program that I do, and I tell the people that are considering working with me for the long haul, talk to my clients, ask them anything you want. And I tell my clients, be an open book, tell them the truth about everything. And what I found is that level of transparency creates a whole lot of trust. Before I keep going with the last couple of items on this list, I invite you to check out my playlist on how to find the right business coach for you. I have a few videos on this topic that touch on a few different pieces. And if you're thinking that I might be the coach, wait till the end and I'll tell you how you can schedule time with me directly. So the 7th piece of finding the right business coach for you is your intuition. How do you feel when you're talking to them? Do you feel calm? Do you feel connected? Do you feel trust in your body? Or do you feel nervous? Do you feel anxious? Does this person make you feel good about yourself, or do you feel badly about yourself when you're in their presence? Like, these are deeper questions and you'll have to possibly sit with these questions, but I invite you to not make any rash, quick judgments and rather to sit with the idea of that coach and really see how it feels. Tap into your intuition and trust your intuition. And at the very least, don't make a huge commitment right off the bat. The way I structure my business, the way I advise my business coaching and coaching clients to structure their businesses is to give people a really big breakthrough in a really short amount of time so that you can build trust and see some outcomes right away. And then from that place of having done that, having shown what you can do, then doing like a longer term engagement. So that's how I work. That's how I recommend other coaches work. And that's how I recommend you as a client looking for a coach. Look for a way that you can dip your toe in the water and just make sure it's a right fit. Now, the last thing to consider is most often the first thing that people consider. And it's important, but I really think it's not the most important. I put it in number 8 for a reason, and that is price. Yes, you want to consider the pricing when you're hiring a coach. But here's the thing. When I hired the coach that made the biggest difference in my business, it was the one I paid the most to ever. I'd had coaches before, and I am not saying they weren't good. They were amazing. One of my very first coaches is still one of the best coaches. But the problem is I wasn't paying her very much money. And because of that, I wasn't fully engaged in and committed to the process. I didn't do my homework. I didn't show up as much as I could. Because I hadn't invested very much, I didn't show up very much. And so I'm a big believer in, if the price is high and all those other criteria are met, okay, but the price feels even too high, figure out how to make it happen. What I've seen for myself, what I've seen with my clients, clients, is that when we stretch ourselves to invest in something that's meaningful and matters to us, we rise to the occasion and we basically expand into a greater version of us just because we made such a big commitment. So don't look for the cheapest game in town. Don't even look for the most economical or reasonable game in town. If this person, if this coach, if this program meets all those other criteria, I say take a risk, roll the dice, and gamble on investing in yourself. Now, if you're considering hiring a business coach and you resonated with me and I might be that aligned fit, let's connect. You can go to superstaractivator.com/go. You can set up time in my calendar directly, and we'll be able to get to know each other a little bit and see if and how you want to go deeper. I hope to talk to you soon.